Then you stop being caught up in the trinkets, in the glories and the laurels of today. You're all about, like, you come to a place where, okay, yeah, I have the accolade, yeah, I have that, but you know what? It's not about that. It's about the journey.
Look at Job. Job had quote unquote the accolades and everything that can come with it, including a loving woman, a loving wife. Then, as fate will have it, one by one, all those accolades are taken away. Every single thing, including his beloved kids, taken away. He's left with his loving wife, who feels like, man, you're really going through quite a bit, and this is probably the end. The best thing to do is just tell God off so you can end your misery, something of that nature. But you remember what Job said?
Tell me.
Job said, when all these things were happening to him, he said, even if God slew me, even if God killed me, so to speak, I will still trust him. His manhood and his worth was never diminished. If you read his story, it was never diminished. He was complaining about the misery, yes, but never in one moment in time did he complain about him being less of a man. Of course, he was wishing for death. He was saying, why didn't I die? Why? And so on and so forth. But he, at one point, any point in time did he lower his manhood down because he's lost sheep. He's lost camels. He's lost this and this and this and that. So, whenever stuff are taken away from us, we can respond in two ways. First, we can get depressed, which is probably very natural.
Really.
Natural.
It's natural to mourn.
Yeah, and so on. But then identity is what we are left with. If our identity was stuck on the sheep and the gods and the bank accounts that we do, which all those things are important. They are important, but they shouldn't be the things that normally define who we are. So being deserving in life as a man or even as a woman shouldn't be, for me, it shouldn't be because I have this, I have that, I have this and I have that. It should be because of I am.
You have because you are.
Yes, I am this. I am breathing because the divine wants me here, and therefore I am deserving to be alive. That's what I will deduce from the whole thing.
You know, I once had this heart that, thank God that love has nothing to do with deserving.
Yeah.
But grace.
Yeah. There's a scripture that talks about works, by the way. There's love, there's works.
Now, allow me to just decipher that a little bit.
Yeah.
When the Bible says that we are saved not by works but by faith.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then it goes on to say that do the works of faith. So it is not enough for you to stick on who you are. Who you are has to bear fruit. Going from that verse which says that you have faith, you've been saved by faith. Now he's saying that faith, you
didn't work for the salvation. You couldn't even work for it.
Once you get the salvation,
yes,
the faith now has to work.
Now, let me take it further. When you are doing the works after you've gotten saved, your identity is not in the works. It still goes back to the root of what you got, even undeserving. Isn't it?
It is. So once you now have this understanding that God has a purpose for you and I as a man, and that purpose is in spite of the weather.
Yeah.
That purpose is in spite of how we feel. That purpose is in spite of life-death situations. And what is that purpose? It is for God to be seen. You know? And when we come back from the break, Lawrence, I want us to talk about dreaming as a man and dreaming on purpose. Especially in a time where many people's hearts have been crushed by one thing or the other, because these are not easy times. The world is in darkness. When you turn on the television and you see what's going on in Ukraine, and you see what's happening in Libya, and you see what's happening across West Africa. When you think about a man who has to leave everything he's worked for and take his children and wife to a place he does not know, you have to think, what is that man going through? And if we could reach that man, how would you speak to him? So let's come back and talk about a man's purpose after the break.
All right.
Lord, hear me now. Hear my prayer. I think it's time now for things to go my way. Cause I see them other people, Lord, they drive me insane. There they go now, Lord, sipping their shakes and eating their fries with no regard for their weight. They probably have some leftovers and they throw them away. They don't know what I'll give to have that just for a day. No idea how I wish I had what they throw away. Do I even dare to dream of ever having a life? Having a house and a dog on a piece of land. Do I dare to dream of one day ever driving a car when all I can think about is walking 10 miles to work? Is it too much to ask for some new shoes once in a while? Is it so wrong to want to have a special meal sometime? I ain't trying to be greedy, I ain't asking for much. I know many others go way more than enough. Lord, I ain't trying to be dishonoring. I just want to know why all the wealth is so unevenly distributed, and why I work twice as hard and don't get half as much. I thought I was your child too, I thought you loved me too. I'll be honest, I ain't feeling the love that they do. I ain't perfect, but I think I should be happy too. Lord, I've given my 100, I done paid my dues. I'm not asking for the world, just to win like they do. I just wanna have more than 1 meal a day, eat my fill and have some food to spare. I just wanna have just a little bit more, not even as much as they do. I bet the rain don't drip on them, and I bet they have new clothes to change. Is it wrong to want just a little bit more? I just wanna win like they do. Have more than 1 meal a day, eat my fill and have some food to spare. I just wanna have just a little bit more, not even as much as they do. I bet the rain don't drip on them, and I bet they have new clothes to change. Is it wrong to want just a little bit more? I just wanna win like they do. Oh, like they do. Oh Lord, I just wanna win like they do.
This is Lawrence's reflection on a solid Jamaz.
You're the way, the truth, and life.
Well, don't consider me lazy today, because I got a reflection for you, but it is not my reflection. I thought it was very apt for me to do this. Just a day after we'd recorded this episode on Solid Jamaz, I see one of the people that I follow on social media, Vusi Tembekwayo, a great leader in business and entrepreneurship, a great public speaker and a great storyteller. He says the same thing we're talking about, imposter syndrome. And I thought I am going to get this short clip out of his 17-minute speech on his podcast on YouTube, which you could actually go and look for it. Just go to YouTube and type in Vusi Tembekwayo, and you will get this about the imposter syndrome. I want you to listen to these sound bites from that particular podcast, and that will be my reflection for the day. Until another time. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I hope you're well. So I wanted to come into your space today just to say It's okay if you're doubting yourself. It really is okay. I think one of the greatest lies of our modern time and one of the greatest lies of this generation is this idea that nobody ever doubts themselves, that this imposter syndrome is only for the select few, but actually the high achievers don't suffer from it. The truth of it is that most high achievers are high achievers precisely because they doubt themselves. They are high achievers precisely because they don't feel like they're competent or worthy or good enough to be in the room. They are high achievers precisely because they think everybody else is better than them. And so they prepare more, they work harder, they commit more time. I think that's just the nature of achievers. So I'll tell you guys an interesting story. I don't think I've actually ever told this story before. I was 17 years old and I was at the World Championship public speaking in London. Anyway, so during the lunch, I think Patty could see visibly, I was quite visibly shaken. I think she could see that I was doubting myself, that I didn't know how this was going to go. Frankly, guys, if I'm to be completely honest, I didn't know if I deserved to be in that room. I didn't know if I should have even been in that competition. I genuinely felt like an imposter. I really did. It's also important for me to say that in that year, I was the only black kid in the competition. We're going back now. This is 2002. So anyway, we finish lunch. Patty can see I'm shaken. Patty says to me, "We have to go back to the hotel now because you need to train." I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, train? All the other kids are out. They're seeing London. They're going to Big Ben. You know, what are you talking about? I don't want to train. I don't feel like training. My brain, my headspace, my spirit is not in the mood to train." She says, "We're going back to the hotel. You're training." And it's a true story. We go back to the hotel. Your body feels good again. Your physiology feels good. You start positive messaging. I focus on the things I can do better, not the people I'm competing with. And I think for a lot of us, a lot of you, if you're feeling overwhelmed, distracted, you feel like an imposter, you don't think you're good enough for what you're doing. The truth is you feel like that because you're focused on who you're competing with, not what you're doing. Keep your eye on what you're doing. The first thing I want to tell you is when it comes to pursuing new opportunities, everybody starts at zero. Everybody. Make sure you're the most prepared. The second thing I want to tell you is when the noise is ringing in your head about how you don't belong in that room, the only way to quieten that noise is to focus on the things you do control and the things you can do. So for the entrepreneurs right now who are wondering if your business is going to improve, focus on the next proposal you're sending out. Focus on the next client with whom you're in a sales call with. Focus on the next presentation you have to prepare. Focus on the next candidate you're trying to hire. Focus on next. Because you don't have to know where the lift goes. You just have to know that if you take one step up the stairway, sooner or later you're going to end up exactly where the lift ends up, all the way at the top.
This has been Lawrence's Reflection on Solid Jamaz, a segment where we reflect on the issues of manhood and society around us. We're back.